If you remember the gospel from last week, we heard Jesus when he sent his apostles out 2 by 2, and he told them how to travel. You remember, travel light, don't take anything with you. And he told them what to do. And today, we hear that they came back. And after their work, Jesus knew that these guys were going to need to rest and they're going to need to recharge. So he invited them to come away to a deserted place to rest a while. What Jesus is doing for us, he's reminding all of us today that rest is important to the health of our mind, our body, and our soul. And this rest isn't just taking a nap, which is what I do a lot of every day. It is spending time with Jesus so that we can receive an increase in God's grace. And it's the grace that re-energizes us. It's the grace that refreshes our soul. It's the grace that brings life to all of our activities. When we rest, we can, after we rest, we have energy, right? Most of the time. We have energy to participate in things. And we have energy to grow in our relationships with one another and with God. And when we rest, our minds are clearer, our moods are more cheerful, and our future is more hopeful. And this all begins by accepting that invitation from Jesus to come away for a while. Sometimes, though, in our productivity-oriented world, we get so busy that we don't hear or we don't take time to respond to this invitation. Sometimes we might even feel guilty for resting when we have so much stuff to do. Thinking that we are wasting time and being unproductive is uncomfortable for us. But we can overcome that if we practice being good stewards of our time by arranging our work days, arranging our school days, our school activities, planning our appointments, scheduling time to be with friends and family. Doing all that can make time available to us that we can prioritize for rest. And when we center that time on prayer, we can receive all the blessings that spending time with Jesus gives us. For example, spending the first 20 minutes of our day, every day, just to be in the presence of Jesus and to let that time we spent with him influence or guide us on how we deal with the day to come is just one real good way to rest. So rest is important. Now, in the second part of the gospel, we heard that after they arrived and got out of the boat, Jesus saw the large crowd that gathered around him, and he had pity on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. They were scattered, they were weak, they were vulnerable, they were lost. And he showed them great compassion. He taught them many things. This compassion of Jesus is of the utmost importance, even today. It is so important that I think it is the sole purpose that Catholic Charities exists in downtown Flint, to share the compassion of Jesus with everybody, especially those who are lost, who are struggling, who are weak, and who are vulnerable. So here's where the resting comes in. When we rest, resting helps us to be more compassionate. When we rest, we realize that the work we're doing is really Jesus' work. And we're doing it to serve him. We're not doing it for self-gratification. We're doing it out of love. The love that Jesus has for us and the love we have for Jesus, and the desire to share that love with everybody around us. When we rest, we grow in patience and care and concern for those around us. When we rest, we can share in their pains and we can share in their struggles. When we rest, we have the energy to accompany them on their life's journey. Resting helps us to be more like the compassionate Jesus. So there it is. There is why rest is so important. Resting helps us be like Jesus. So, if your life seems a little messy right now, if you seem a little overwhelmed, if you think you're wasting time, that the things you're doing are burdensome and meaningless, if you don't have any energy, come away and rest a while. Let Jesus' rest bring order to your life to your activities, energy to your relationships, clarity to your mind, cheer to your mood, and hope to your future.